Welcome to the In Conversation with Expostars podcast. I am Lee Ali, founder and MD of Expostars Interactive, an award-winning global live marketing and exhibition engagement agency. This is a podcast about leading the way in the live marketing industry and in business. In every episode, we speak to people around the world who do absolutely amazing work. You'll find an eclectic mix of stories and valuable insights on audience engagement, sales and marketing, mindset and well-being, business growth, and much more. We've been active in the live marketing industry for well over a decade now, and over that time we've been very fortunate and privileged to have met and worked with a diverse range of inspiring business people. We ask them thought-provoking questions and share with you their valuable insights. We want to inspire you to transform your live marketing, engage your audience, grow your business, and enjoy the process. Happy listening. Hello, and welcome to podcast number 4. I'm Lee Ali, your host, founder and managing director of Expostars Interactive. Have you ever had that situation where you've walked into a room and you've talked with somebody and you've walked away feeling absolutely drained of energy? Or you might have been in front of a stage watching a concert and the whole stadium is rocking and you feel full of energy and life. Or you may have had a situation where you walked into a room, into a meeting, and you can cut the tension with a knife. Well, this is energy at play, and today's subject we're going to deep dive into is all about energy and how we can use it to improve our health, improve our communication and well-being. And joining me today is a gentleman that I met 5 years ago, and the first time I saw him, he actually performed a miracle at an event, and he took a lady with sore knees and he made her feel absolutely better within minutes. So Chris Burgess, he's a healer, he's an octogenarian, he's a Tai Chi specialist. He also practices Qi Chung. I can never say that. Chris, hi, how are you? How are you today?
I'm fine. I was going to say that term chickadee boo, but it's so old you wouldn't know what it was. So I won't say it.
Great stuff. So tell us a bit more about how you got involved with energy and you know, the kind of work that you've done over the past few years.
Well, it'd probably take 1,000 years for me to explain because I'm so old and started so young. When I was very young, I could never understand why people, and when I say young, I'm about 2.5, why people spoke to somebody nastily. I could never see the reaction from the person, of course, and I could never understand why they talked to me as though it was thick, you know, because I'm thinking, well, why are they talking to me like that, you see? So that's like an energetic thing. Then in my generation, which was 1940, you if you were in a certain class level, as they termed it then, you never went into the higher things like being a doctor. And I always wanted to be a doctor when I was very young because I could go along and just talk to people and they'd feel a hell of a lot better. Yeah. So that didn't happen. I went into the electronic business, in other words, electronic engineer. Now that's about energy, it's about electronics, it's about radiation, it's about all kinds of shit. So from there, I was fixing things and everything else on a say you had a TV and the picture's like that, but it's jumping up and down, could go on like this, or it's like this wide, or it's this shape. That was the symptom, not the root cause. And in my days, they were all discrete components where you'd have a resistor, transistor, coil. So you check back. You get to the one component that was causing the problem, change it, perfect picture, perfect sound. It's the same with human beings in a different sort of way. So then what I did then, I went around all the spiritual healing churches to see what this was all about, energy, you see. Yeah. And I walked into this church, I'm maybe about 23 or something, and this fellow pointed at me like that, older guy. Well, to me he was old, he's probably only about 50, like, but to me at 20, like, you're a healer. And I thought, he's off his head. Right. So then I joined this spiritual church thing where you have a circle where they all train you up and all that, you say. And he said, oh, this fellow who was leading, and not the guy who points to him, he said, oh, you can go out of the night and heal people. Okay, I'll give it a go, because don't forget I'm in this electronic something, radiation and all this paper. So I was going out of an evening and I was getting these blobs, horrible black slimy blobs out of this pit of mire, and putting them on a bench next to me and talking to them, and they were changing it to women. Why women, I don't know. Changing it to women. But then there was always a woman who'd come sitting next to them, trying to get them back into the pit. So I was doing this for a few weeks. I thought, flipping heck, this is hard going, this, you know, scary. You know. So I went to the guy who was leading the magic circle, if you call it like that. I said, what's this all about? What does it mean? He said, oh, I don't know. But next time you go to sleep, right, because you go out when you're asleep, your spirit goes out and all that. He said, go and ask. So I said, yeah, okay. So I went out to ask. And there was this being, right, shimmering being, no gender, right, and it was telepathic, sitting in a big wing-back chair like this, you know. And I went in and I said, I've been told to come and ask you what I should do about this. And this thing just went telepathically, like, because you couldn't see a mouth or anything. It looked like, you know, these globes you see in a nightclub where they're all faceted glass, like, but like that, this shimmering being. So he said, you know what to do. I said, all right, I'm not bloody doing this anymore, because it's scary, like, you know, obviously only young then. So I packed it in. Then about 10 years later, right, I'm looking through this bookshop on the obviously energy therapy stuff and everything else. And there's a picture that this nun had done. She brought a book out, and there's these black blinking blobs, exactly the same as I'd seen. So I just went, boom, and shut the book and put it back on the shelf, because obviously it brought that scary feel, which is a shame there, because probably would have packed in, not packed it in, and probably done something else. So then I was always helping people, and then trying different things. Now, Qigong came over to this country mainly, it's been going for thousands of years, in about 1988 after the Tiananmen Square job in China. So I went to see one of the guys who'd come over from China and studied under him. Then there was another girl come over from China and studied under them. Then I would, obviously, because of my technical background, getting all kinds of books on the subject. And there's a professor, Dr. Alan Johnson in the USA. And he's both a medical guy, you know, a traditional medicine from China, and also a Western medicine fella. So he's wrote quite a few books, and they're like this, tomes, or toms, I don't know how you pronounce it. So I study them, and they're good, because you can get things off there which you can give to people rapidly. And but before that, I was healing people by just grabbing the stuff out of them and bin in it. And I didn't know. Got his books, and then it is just one of the techniques. Is that's what you do. They have a thing called tiger palm, where you grab it out. Yeah. Sword finger, dragon point. There's a whole raft of things you do, but they work, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay, great. So let's talk about energy. And I gave at the beginning of the podcast, I gave some examples of energy at play. So tell us a bit more about how energy works, and you know, how it surrounds you, and how does it work with our mindset and our brain.
Well, an easy explanation is there. Yeah. If I go like that, or that, and switch it off, switch it. The energy that's out there in the universe, radiating in this room now, as I'm talking to you, I'm on an electronic thing, which is radiation or electronic. This is the same. Now, obviously, we didn't have these in my day. Lucky if you had a blinking phone that you could pick up. So, primarily, we're surrounded by electromagnetic fields, and they've recently found out that there's a thing called neutrons and neutrinos, and they're that small you can't see the blooming things, but they're zooming out over. So that's energy as well. So that's quantum energy, if you like. Einstein done a good job, and other there's another few guys who've come up with the energy thing, but it's always been there for millions of years. And just to explain it in a Qigong thing, heaven, right, if you like, the sunlight and the energy from outside of the world, right, is yang energy.
Yeah.
And that normally comes through to the top of your head here.
Yeah.
Yin energy is the earth energy, and that comes up through your feet.
Right.
And it's like an electromagnetic field. You can't see it, but suppose a simple example: somebody's in a shop and they go like that to press the thing on the lift, and they go, "Wow!"
Yeah.
Because that is electrostatic energy.
Yeah.
You just earthed it, but you've earthed it through me.
Yeah.
And so going back to my first experience of what energy can really do is when I was about 17, working on a TV, and in the old days, you had to take the backs off, you had to take them a bit, and you lifted the chassis over. Now, normally, the fuses would be on top of the chassis, but this one, I went like that, and the fuses were underneath, right? And it threw me, right, from here to about 10 yards away. It was that heavy. And I thought, oh, what's that smell?
Yeah.
And it burnt right through my bloody finger. So my finger was the thing that was burning flesh.
Yeah.
Then the whole workshop that I was working in, the whole workshop went boom, collapsed. So he said, what's going on? You see, obviously they're not really bothered about me getting killed nearly. So they go down into the basement, and it had blown the 65 amp fuse. Now that really should have killed me stone dead.
Right.
Didn't. Burn my finger though, I always remember that.
Yeah.
So that's energy at its worst, where you're using it for bad things. In other words, it didn't mean to be bad, just caught me wrong. Now normally if you put your hand on a 13 amp fuse, it'll kill you. So lucky to be here.
Right, of course, yeah. I mean, I've had a similar experience as well. When I was about 12, I was changing a plug socket, and caught my hand. I didn't obviously shut off the electricity, and I caught it, and it was a really nasty experience. So let's look at some of the common misconceptions that we have about energy and healing. Do you want to share some misconceptions that you've heard over the past few years about what energy is and what people generally think about, how energy works?
Well, it's a mindset, really. You see, some people are really into the healing through the churches.
Yeah.
That comes from our not our religion, my religion, which originally was Christianity. Right now, I've looked at all the other ones, very, very similar.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you like, that energy bit was from Christ, who used to put his hands on, or distance healing. Then, like you once said, tell him to get up and you'll be okay now. And he wasn't even there; he was miles away, So this is just a couple of thousand years ago. There was a series of healers throughout the centuries, but prior to this, energy healing with the shamanic people was probably 125,000 to 200,000 years old, and they used drums, cymbals, chanting. Then you had the Aborigines, which is probably about at least 75 million years old.
Yeah.
And they've got the thing you blow on now. I forget the name of the blooming thing now.
Didgeridoo. Is it didgeridoo? Yeah.
Didgeridoo, yeah. So they've got that as a sound thing. In the Bible, there's all things about sound and healing. And in the Kabbalah, which is the Jewish one, it's in that. And all the other books, there's always this sound element. And one of the first things, which is talking about energy now, is they said, first there was the word. And this is in umpteen different biblical texts and other texts from other religions. And the word said, let there be light. So sound is a very, 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 very energetic thing that people can use to heal people. Because your body is, and my body is roughly about 70% water. Yeah. So if you get the vibration right with the energy, that fills it. But a lot of people, they do not wish to know if it's not a solid thing
Yeah.
like this. It cannot be. But
Yeah.
what they don't realize that with, as an example, glasses, wine glasses,
Yeah.
an operatic singer will go, oh, and the glass will shatter
Yeah.
because it resonates at that frequency that is too powerful for that. So I don't know if that's a rough explanation, or do you need any more on it? But it's people's minds. If they think it's not going to work, it ain't going to work, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about the mindset and actually being open-minded to understand that all around you there is energy, and actually being able to harness that. And if people are kind of black and white about these things, where they only believe the physical reality, then obviously that is going to cause misconceptions for them. So let's talk about, earlier I gave an example where sometimes you meet someone and they actually drain the life out of you. And you probably had that situation yourself where, I go to exhibitions quite a lot, and when I meet someone and afterwards I just feel drained. So is it possible that people can be surrounded by negative energy, and can that then be transmitted to other people?
Yeah, it's mainly transmitted by a sense of feeling that you get off the person right away.
Yeah.
Because you can actually, people think, what's it? And they feel something funny here. The feeling that energy, which can be a horrible energy. In other words, a person's a very nasty person. They can't help it. They're just being brought up like that or whatever.
Yeah.
So the other thing with energy in the form of words is very powerful. Right. So therefore, the way they speak to you and the way they look down at you or look up to you generates a wave of energy. Now, one of the things you will notice over business, and if you haven't, I'd be very surprised. If you give somebody a title, it's like, oh yes, oh yes. If the person hasn't got the title, it's next, and it's sad really, because you say, Sir Ponsonby Smythe. Sir, oh, he must be high up, or doctor, or whatever. Now, if the doctors have got it right, as soon as they become, physicians who cut people up, right, they call themselves Mister after that, which in the doctor's game is a higher rank. So when, it's Mister, he's a surgeon, it's that. So words are very, very powerful, but you'll get the sense and feel of somebody else because they actually radiate a field around the body. Now the field can be withdrawn with it like that. Now you sense that partly by the heads down, the eyes looking like that. So yeah, and now when you look back at the yin and yang bit, yang and yin, positive and negative, to get a flow of energy, the negative electrons flow to the positive pole. If you've got too much, boom, it overloads it. If you've got a nice balance, you're happy. So some people are overloaded with energy that's causing physical problems or mental problems. And other people are just dead biased, balanced, I should say.
Yeah. So is there any exercises that you can do? Is there anything that you can do to stop that actually happening by being affected by other people's energy?
Yeah, well, if it's okay with you, if you give everybody my email. I mean, everybody. I mean, if you've got 100 people or 1,000, it doesn't matter. It'd be a bit of a pain in the backside for me to say. So there's a thing called the 21 Ancient Taoist Movements for Good Health. And it takes you about 10 minutes. And what it does, it activates all the energetic, not all of the energetic points in your body, but the major ones for different, like the gallbladder meridian, for example. One of the things on the back of the shoulder, you find a sore spot. A lot of people now, because on the computer all the time, they've got back problems, pain problems. So what you do is just find a sore spot and hit it 9 times. This 9 times. Another one at the start of this thing is you rotate your head that way and then that way 9 times and then 9 times. And then it's a list of things that go down your body. One of the things to pull in the energy, this is called pericardiumate. Right, pericardium is a sac that goes around your heart. So that's molten stuff, but it's always been called pericardiumate for donkey's years. And you push the energy down, and then bring the energy in and push it down.
Yeah.
So there's 21 movements on there. And the other one I would suggest is really a necessity in this day and age is the immune system booster. Right, so that's one where you boost your immune system, and that literally is quick. There's your thymus gland here.
Yeah.
Now, what they used to do is cut your thymus gland out years ago because after the age of 12 it stops growing. Now they realize it's very important in the immune system, right? And then kidneys, gallbladder, stomach, and then down again. And that's, but you don't do it quick with Qigong. It's always, you're pulling the energy in, and you can actually feel it when you get used to it. You pull it in like that, you can feel it, and then very slowly down. Because in our style, it's pum, 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 pum.
Yeah.
You know, energy bars. No, you get more energy doing it slow.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Great.
I send them to your members who are on this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'll share your details.
If I show them it now, they'd probably forget. You see.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all about practice. But
Yeah.
every day, and it gives you a lot of boost.
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk about the work scenario. And obviously, one of the biggest causes of absence at work, and you have lack of motivation, and then you have obviously the stress and depression, which causes all of this in the corporate environment. And what role does energy play in workplace stress? And creating a kind of a negative environment?
Workplace stress is there's a thing called executive burnout. And you know about this because you are an executive. You've been there, got the t-shirt with a pushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's normally young men, right?
Yeah.
And what it is, you're overloading the mental and physical capacities by giving them too much or doing it the wrong way or bullying. Bullying's a bloody favourite one in the thing.
Of course,
now, I've done a thing for bullies to get shut of bullies. That's three different ways, which works. And the bully then starts to help you, or they remove themselves. And from experience, that's worked in every single place where I've given somebody that. One of them was a senior nurse in Liverpool. This is donkey's years ago now. I said, I'll give you this thing for bullying, because this two senior nurses, same level. This one was really, horrible. So I said, two things will happen. She'll either leave, or she will start to help you to get you into a better position. So I didn't see her for a while. Her son had a brain injury, so he felt bike thing, your usual stones. So she asked me to come and sort him out. So I won't go into the depth of that, And when I went to see him, I said, by the way, how'd you get on with that nurse who was really horrible to you? The same rank, She said, oh, she left. I said, oh, where did she go to? She said, Australia. Now, with all due respect, it's a good way to go. Now, I've done that with another girl, who had a different situation where there was three of them ganging up on her. And I gave her the same thing. And literally, she come back. She said, hey, Chris, she said, I thought you were kidding, I said, oh, yeah. Oh, ye of little faith, messing about. Yeah. And she said, the three of them now are trying to help me, and the senior one is trying to get me a better post. I said, great. So therefore, that one worked where they changed her attitude because she was no longer afraid of them, and it helped her. And the other one disappeared. It only works two ways with that, though. Yeah. So, and it's a very simple technique to show anybody. Of course. Say somebody over the Zoom.
Yeah. All right, great. Let's talk about energy blockages. So sometimes, obviously, people fall sick. And I was reading a report this morning in The Guardian that the National Institute of Healthcare and Excellence, what they recommended is that people, that doctors start moving away from the analgesics and then just start recommending things like, different alternative therapies and psychotherapy and so on. And from past experience, I've had friends who've had a backache and, they were given painkillers and what have you. But what they found was all they needed to do was actually talk to someone about their feelings and release that energy that was stored in their back that was actually causing the problem. So how do energy blockages work, and what kind of effects can they actually have on you?
Well, they can have multiple effects. One is where you don't want to do anything, and eventually the pain's that great you go out the game. The other one's where you tablet, so like that. So you're walking around like a bloody zombie in the end. There's a thing in Chinese medicine, right? Qigong, if you like. So that's the pronunciation, Qigong, but it's a different one. It's got a spelled QI, which is pinyin Chinese, but pinyin English, you see. Here, right, you've got a brain, and everybody goes, it's my brain. Here, in the heart, you've got a brain. Now, they've done heart transplants, and these people have had heart transplants. Well, I've got this thing, I've got this funny feeling. They've never been there before or anything. And it's memories in the brain. In other words, you've got synapses and dendrites, the same. And you've got a gut brain. Now, everybody said the thing, I had this gut feeling, and they're dead right. So, as an example, there's a fellow called Hippocrates 2,500 years ago, and it's everybody now in the medical profession take the Hippocratic Oath, and his thing is first do no harm. But he said, obviously wrote it down because we still know about it, that the majority of ailments are through the gut, right? In other words, this has got a brain. Now, recent knowledge has found that that's true. It's got more going on than this brain. Now, to get short of that type of problem, the way I do it is use this brain and this brain and this brain, and ask them a specific word that encompasses what their problem is. You know, and it could be not yours. Don't inject words into them. And when they come up with that, you then use a thing called the San Yao channel, which is triple heated, triple warm. In other words, three of them. San Yao, so you can interpret it whatever way you like. In other words, it activates it once ago. And then you use a thing called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Now, that's done by doctors as well in Western medicine, but I think you use a light, I don't know what, but it's not all that effective. The way I do it, it's, well, so far it's 100% effective. So what you're doing is, this remembers the problem. So say you got whacked in the back like, and the brain goes, oh, don't move your back, don't move your back, don't move your back, don't move your back. Don't. Self-hypnosis, if you like. So in the end, you've got to be careful with that back. You can have it, well, last lad I've done 12 months ago now, the longest one, it's 30 years you've had a problem because you're crushed at work. And I shifted in an hour for him, and I give him some movements to do to keep this in tune. Now, one of the problems being is this thing's in, the emotion cuts in, and it says, well, where was that pain? Was it in your shoulder? There's a couple of YouTube things I've got on where one young lady's got a frozen shoulder, and she'd had it for, I think, just 12 months. But I've had people with frozen shoulders where they've had it for, crikey, 10 years, right? So there's no time scale to it. It's this memory is trying to protect you, so it gives you the pain to stop you injuring yourself again. So what you need to do is just drop that out of existence. You can do it over the phone as well.
Of course,
well, you can do it over the phone. We can also do it like this, face to face, where you show them where the San Yao channel is. So the San Yao channel is just there. Operate that and give them the things to do, and normally it's gone within an hour.
Okay. All right.
So it's your mind trying to protect your body. So you've got this memory of where the pain is, and if it's really bad pain, it stays with you.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. So in terms of giving people advice, Chris, on how, if you could actually give them 3 tips on how to harness positive energy, okay, what kind of exercises would you have them do?
The exercise will just give you those 2, but there's a thing now. I've got it printed out, you see, now. So I don't know whether we've got time for me to read that out now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay. This is one, and people who listen to this can do it, you see.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm reading it out is because I don't want to miss anything you say.
Right. Okay.
Close your eyes. So you can do this now.
Right. Okay. So that again.
And let your mind wander for a few minutes.
Right.
What you need to do now is daydream for the next 10 minutes. Now, if you can't afford 10 minutes for yourself, right, because you're stressed out, that's why you're stressed. You're not giving yourself 10 minutes. Sit in a relaxed position and close your eyes. Preferably place your hands palm down on your desk or your thighs. The reason for that, the pericardium down to earth. So you've got all the yang energy coming in. You want to balance it down to the earth, you see, and that goes through the legs of the desk because it vibrates. You won't see the desk vibrating, but it does. Right. Now take a really big, deep breath in. Hold it for the count of 5 and begin to exhale very slowly. As you exhale, blow away all the tension in the body. You're doing it spot on then. I'm watching you. Now breathe in normally and stay relaxed. All you have to do for the next few minutes is daydream. You may visit strange places. Just relax. Try to let your thoughts just flow freely. Just let them flow. Now just relax. And in a few minutes, you can then open your eyes. Now, because this is limited time now, obviously, I'll ask you to things, by just doing that, did you feel more relaxed? And you only done it for a minute, So you do it for 10 minutes. Just drift off where the hell, let your mind go and don't stop it, because it's getting these impulses all the time. So now ask yourself, how did you feel after your daydream?
Yeah.
Right. How can daydreaming have value for creativity? Yes, well, hang on, I can do that. How effective is it for relaxation? I'm telling you now, it's brilliant, right? Because you're letting the energy go through the floor and you're getting the new energy in. When could a short daydream fit in your day? Well, half the time when you're bored to death, where these people giving you this down your day, just cuts off. This simple method has been proven scientifically to reduce stress and increase productivity. Now, the business people are going, whoa, we like this. You could do it in a class. You could do it anything, and on the bottom, I put my little thing. If you can't find 10 minutes a day for yourself to relax, it's sad.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're right. I mean, some of the best ideas come from, some of my best ideas have come from when I'm in the shower, I've completely switched off and I just daydream.
That's the energy coming to you again, you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then obviously, when you're snoozing after, a night's sleep and you're just daydreaming and you're just wandering off. And it's absolutely amazing what you can do in the middle of the afternoon, just go for a walk and, look at the wonders, just notice the little things as well. And it's amazing what effect that can, a regenerating effect that can actually have on your day. So I think that's great advice, Chris.
When you're walking on the sole of your foot, you've got a point there, kidney 1, kidney's the energy point, kidney 27, kidney 1, kidney 20. Here, simian affects the brain. So as you're walking just on the earth, you get the energy in from the earth. When you look up, you can see the sky and everything else, so it's good.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Chris, it was a pleasure talking to you. We could talk about energy all day, and I would love to have you back at some stage in the future to talk more in depth about energy and healing and so on. But thank you very much for your time. And we're going to share your details on the podcast in the text below. And people can also go to your website to learn more about the healing work that you do. Absolutely brilliant to have you, Chris. Thank you very much for your time. And we'll be, no doubt, I'll see you at our next Reiki Circle meeting in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the thing being, if anybody's got any problems that I didn't really cover, I've always got something that I can help them with. Yeah,
brilliant.
So thanks
absolutely. We'll point them in your direction, Chris. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.
And you, and behave yourself.
Thank you, Chris.
See you soon.
There we go. A lot of talk about energy there, and I hope that kind of opened up some ideas of how you can actually use energy in your workplace for your well-being and for your communication level as well. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll join you soon. And look out for podcast episode number 5 coming very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.